live. You know what I mean? And there's some guys who you just wanted to see if they knew how to operate. I thought Blyhill had a really good day, showed some really good things. I'm trying to think here. Up front, Kai Wallen had a good day. You know, the usual guys, Cam Lenhart. There's a lot of guys who made a lot of plays, but the one that was noticeable out there on the edge was some of the DBs. Like I said, Blyhill made a ton of plays. So, and then obviously this week coming up, you want to just see the guys be able to take a step and cut down on the MAs, make sure they understand how we want to play football. Again, you're always looking for somebody to break through. You know what I mean? Somebody that just knows what to do, knows how to do it, and then all of a sudden you give them a chance live, coaches off the field, you know, that they go out there and make plays. So,
has Bly been building toward a scrimmage like that throughout the spring?
Yes. Yeah. Again, not because there's so many guys that are improving, but he was just noticeable because he had 2-3 plays where it's just like, hey, it's you and the ball, you and the defender, you and the offensive guy, and he happened to make those plays. So it was good to see a guy like that who he worked the whole offseason with Coach Coop as all those guys did, but he does exactly what you ask. You know, he really absorbs the information and applies it on the grass. You see him working on things. He's really deliberate in his practice. So it's good for him to show out like that.
You're replacing Luke and Nick at linebacker. I mean, how do you like how that's come together just with the group you have at linebacker without those two veterans?
Yeah, the without those two guys, I mean, you got guys like Mackay, you got Javen Buddha. Bullock has really been, you know, and I think I said this before, that last year he was a safety, learned how to play linebacker, and this so far this spring he's really stepped it up. I mean, he is a linebacker, and he's now, I think you can see in the speed of how he's playing in practice, how comfortable he's starting to get, and he's just seeing things a little faster. He's a little bit more aggressive on the ball. And then you got those other guys starting to show up. I mean, Jacob Bauer's doing a really nice job. He's starting to flash and show. Gage Stenger, Steph Thompson. Now, you know, he's worked himself into shape. I mean, he knows the defense, so now he's starting to put things together in there. I mean, so you got a lot of guys who are starting to come up. I mean, but again, it's all about the build up to Saturday, right? Because Saturday is just like a game, and that's where you really get a chance to say, okay, this is who I am, you know. So
evaluate when you look at your defense as a whole and you watch from those scrimmages, but you don't have Ty and Nash out there as such a huge part of what you do in the front. So do you take that into account and giving the front some leeway, knowing that your main guys aren't there?
No. I mean, we operate as is, because, you know, football, at any point in time, any one guy could not be out there. So it's the 11 guys on the field. You guys, for that play, when you take the field, you guys are the starters. So and it's cool as a play caller, because you get a chance to see, you know, what those guys do well, what they need to work on, and be really deliberate with them in terms of, hey, this practice, I want you to do this. I know, like Jamari, for instance, you know, T Knight has been working on with Jamari on some certain pass rush moves, and, you know, if you don't tell him anything, he wants to do one thing, but he's been really, really deliberate in working on things, you know. So and that's with kind of everybody. Everybody's, you know, has one thing that they're picking to really work on. So it's fun to watch when you take those guys out there and other guys have to step up and play, you know.
Riley Van Poppel, somebody who's taken advantage of that opportunity of scrimmaging and not having Ty and Nash.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Riley, you got the Vincent Carroll Jackson in there. Sua is come on, and he's starting to show, like, hey, he belongs. I mean, again, those guys, T-Knight does a great job of mixing those guys around from tackle to end, from first to second, you know. And then the competition daily on the grading, you know, the depth chart is never the same. You're always moving guys up, moving guys down based off of performance. So it's a good competition in there for guys to get better.
So you talked about the high standards you have for this group, and to the point where you said had your staff kind of check you, like, are we good?
Yeah.
Did you get kind of more of an answer to that for yourself after this first scrimmage, or is it still too early to kind of answer that question for yourself?
No, you're never good enough. Now the really cool thing, okay, I'm gonna say this because I don't think he'll say it, that, you know, after the scrimmage when we came back and watched it, you know, coach got on me because it wasn't good enough. You know, it just wasn't good enough. And so we went back and we looked, because this group of guys in the locker room, they do what you ask, man. These guys are blue collar. They make coaching fun, you know. So I looked at it and we went back as a defense staff and said, how can we do this? And so we tweaked some things on defense and explained to them, and I apologized to the guys. I said, hey guys, this is my fault. This is what we want to look like. This is what we want to do, and showed them. And Tuesday they went out there and they ran around with their hair on fire, and I was like, wow. Like, I think everybody's like, holy cow, like, what's going on? And then today, to start it off, they had the same attitude towards them. So I had to apologize to the guys. It was my fault, you know what I mean? And it was really fun to watch those guys, Jamari, Bullock, Giff. I mean, those guys, Keese, go out there with the little chip on their shoulder and fly around. So again, you're never good enough. You're always tweaking something. You're always trying to challenge somebody. You're always trying to make sure that guys are getting better and not. And when coach jumped us for that, like, it was a great thing. You know what I mean? So we were able to redefine some things.
What was his concern? Where were you?
We got to play hard. You know, we want to, we want to have the habits. Okay, we want to create the habits of the best defense in the country. Right? That's what we want to do. Okay, the best defense in the country. They have certain habits that they run to the ball. They're physical. They don't give a crap, and they play with ultimate confidence. You know, and so that was the thing, making sure that those guys are confident. Like, they're big, they're strong and fast. From what Corey, Mitch, and Kristen has been doing with them in the offseason, they know what to do. They've been sitting in meetings. Bro, go out there and play. Go out there and play. No hesitation, no fear. Like, go play, and then we'll correct it later. So I think that's the next step, is to make sure that every guy believes, man, like, they are monsters out there, that they can just go out and play fast and physical, and then we'll correct the stuff later, but just go out there and put it on tape and let's see.
You mentioned a lot of veterans and the guys that responded Tuesday and Thursday. I mean, for the response to be like, we've got to step it up and not like, oh, they're probably talking about the younger guys. Like, what does that say about the culture you guys have right now?
That's 100% those guys. Like I said, they do whatever is asked of them. Those, I can't talk enough about those guys. I mean, when I apologized to them and we showed them, they went out there and they did it. And they started to do it. You know what I mean? So it was really neat for them to do it on Tuesday and then come out there today and have that same attitude. Now, again, it's just what coaching is, right? It's fixing things, is making adjustments, seeing like why certain guys did something, but really working on the confidence, really working on when you step on that grass, you just let it go and go play. So.
How much position moves and experimenting have you been able to do this spring, like trying guys out at some new spots? You were maybe an offensive guy. Have you been able to do much of that this spring?
There's been some of that. I mean, some of the big guys inside that from offensive line to defensive line, but it hasn't been as drastic as it was last year. Because you don't know the guys and all, but now you got a sense of what they can and can't do. And then as we continue with this stuff, then guys are getting hurt. So now you're seeing, okay, well, maybe this guy can go over there and play corner and start experimenting with stuff like that. But we have been, but just not in the numbers that have been since last year.
Tony, is there anything in particular about this offense that challenges your group, the offense against your group?
Yeah, I mean, again, they number one is running the ball. I don't think the offense got enough credit for how well they ran the ball, because it reflected on us being able to play the run. You know what I mean? Number one. And then number two, with all three quarterbacks and Coach Thomas developing them and tweaking things on offense, like you're having to defend so much more. You know what I mean? So that's going to definitely 100% get us ready for what we're going to see, especially with the new additions of the schools out west.
You mentioned Jamari. What have you seen of him just coming off of last year, and maybe the confidence that he built up with that season, and where he's taking that now?
Yeah, you said it. You said it exactly right. I mean, it's the confidence, right? That's the thing, because they're working on things. Anytime you can line up and then say today, hey, when I get a pass that I'm going to do this, and then they go out there and do it, and then you go back and watch it on film. that they were that deliberate in practice, that takes confidence. That takes confidence in your ability and also confidence in the fact that you're like, hey, I'm not good at this. I need to work on this. You know what I mean? So he's a guy who you can see that he loves where he's at. He loves the guys who he's playing for and with, and the bond and the chemistry with T. Knight and the guys on defense. I think it's just taking a guy like Jamari and giving him the ability and confidence to go out there and have a great season.
NFL draft is next week. Got some guys who could either be drafted or signed somewhere as undrafted free agents. Got 4 guys, maybe more. Just what have you told teams? What could you tell teams about those guys that NFL teams would take a chance on them?
Well, number one is their ability showed, right? When they went to pro day, you saw how explosive they are. You saw how fast they were, how high they jumped. So the ability was there. And then coming from here, especially the way the program is run, like you're going to get a guy who excels, right? You're going to get a blue collar guy who's tough, who's physical, who knows how to show up, who knows how to take notes, who is a professional, And so you look at those guys failing especially on defense, Luke, Q, those guys, like that's what they are, that's what Nebraska's about. So I remember going through the process, my process the same way, and it's I wasn't as prepared as they were. I was not as prepared. So, wish those guys well, and I know they're going to do a good job wherever they go.
You mentioned how Coach Rule can get after the assistants sometimes. I mean, is that unique in some of your stops, the extent he gets after you, and is that something you welcome?
Yeah, the great ones do, right? The great ones do. They're not satisfied, right? And they're always figuring out a way. And I said this when my first observations with Coach Rule, like, you're always looking, you're always finding ways to try to do something better, more efficient, give somebody more confidence to go out there and do it. Your position coaches, whatever it is, recruiting, the nutrition staff, the weight staff, whatever it may be, he's always looking, and he's always like trying to figure out a way to make things better. And you saw the tape on Saturday. And sure, there's some great individual performances, but as a whole, we talk about taking this next step. And I said this, like, everything is words until it's put in action, right? So you talk about taking the next step where it's not showing up on film. So then you have to go back, and it always starts with me on defense, right? And then going back and saying, how are we talking to the guys? Do they know? Do they see it? And then Coach Coop having great ideas, Coach Dvoracek having great ideas, Coach T. Knight having great ideas. Everybody in that D staff room coming together and saying, hey, this is maybe we need to do this, we need to do this. And it's like, damn, okay, let's do that. And the young men so far have responded 2 practices in. So, kudos to them, and we'll see what happens. We'll go up and watch the film, and then we'll see what happens on Saturday. Yeah, I don't see Matt here. He went to class, right? He did? Good. Keep student.
We're gonna probably have Chief and Riley Van Poppel in here. Makai's in the hallway now, if you need Makai.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
How's everybody doing? Cold.
Yeah. What is this?
I miss the 88 and sunny.
It'll come back.
I know, hopefully soon.
How are your young and new linebackers, Stefan and your early goalies, doing now that you're 11 practices into the spring?
They've been doing a really nice job. The older guys in the room, Nick and Luke, those guys last year, and John, I think they set a really good standard in the room. So those guys are doing a nice job right now, doing everything we ask, working hard, trying to get better every day. So they're doing a nice job.
Have you seen a increase in readiness from Stefan? Tony mentioned that he's now getting into better shape, and we heard from Coach Rule that it was maybe a rocky transition for him early in the winter. How have you seen his progression?
I think he's getting better. Obviously, it was a transition for him to move here, be a part of this program. The culture kind of adjusts to everything. The way we do everything, really, from the weight room, nutrition, sleep, study hall, literally everything. So that was a transition for him, and He's working every day to get better at it, kind of understanding how we want to do things. And so he's gotten better at it, learning how we practice, what our expectations are, what our standards are. So he's improving.
With the Jack linebackers, what's your impression of that group and maybe the progress that they've made so far?
Yeah, they've been doing a nice job so far. Physical, working their butts off. I got nothing but good things to say about them. Obviously, every day the whole room is trying to get better, but they've been doing a nice job so far this spring.
What about Vincent Shavers? I mean, the recruiting of him, you guys jumped on him kind of late. I mean, how, I want to say surprised, but just how for him to come in this quickly when you really didn't have much of a chance to probably recruit him over the process. How big of a surprise has this been for you guys?
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. I think Coach Rule mentioned it the other day. He's kind of the type of young man that you want on your team. Does everything right, works his tail off, the way he plays the game, just a lot of energy, physical, flying to the ball. He's what you want, and so I feel blessed that he's on our team for my sake and everyone else that's a part of it.
How quick did his recruiting process move for you? Because, I mean, it was literally a week before signing day pretty much.
Yeah, it was quick. I mean, we went to see him, and it was like, hey, come up to Nebraska, and he came on the OV and said, I'm coming to Nebraska, and the rest was history from there. So it was a short period of time, and I'm glad he's here.
Tony highlighted Bullock and said, he's just really playing fast right now and with a lot of confidence. Have you seen him kind of take another step, kind of based off of last year's, performance?
Yeah, for sure. I think he transitioned from DB to linebacker last year and hasn't really played that position before. So he obviously had the opportunity to go through a season, get as many reps as he did, and get some confidence from playing the position. I think now, just being an older guy, having some experience at the position, he's got a ton of confidence, and he's one of the leaders in that room. So it's been good to kind of see him play a little bit more free and kind of know exactly what to do, how to do it, now that he's done it, to gain some confidence.
How have you seen him embrace that leadership role, especially with, two of the other old heads from last year that aren't here anymore?
It's been cool to see because really last year John transitioned to play linebacker, and so it was kind of new to him, even though he was an older guy. And now you see him kind of I laugh because I just see him and the young guys all in there together, and John getting on him like, hey, what are you doing? Like, we just talked about this. And so he's kind of in that coaching role in a sense, but at the same time, he's obviously playing. So it's been cool to kind of see him take ownership of the room a little bit more than he did a year ago, because obviously he's more comfortable.
Coach Rule or Tony mentioned with the spring league stuff, like all the assistants are calling defenses, and it can help you for the future.
Yeah.
How big a benefit is that to have a staff that works that way, where you're calling some things, and I'm sure Evan is, and everything.
Yeah. It's been a great experience for us. I mean, I go back and watch the tape and say to myself, like, man, that was stupid. Like, I shouldn't have called that, and have Coach White give us some reflection about, hey, why'd you do this? Why'd you call this? And just kind of give us feedback, because we haven't done that before. And that just helps you in the long run. And you're like, man, you could evaluate yourself and be like, why'd you do it? Why'd you call it? Whatever the reasons may be. So it's been really good. A couple times I said to myself, like, man, that was dumb. But you learn from it, just like playing the game. You learn from your mistakes and you try to get better at it, and so you don't make that same mistake.
Could you do it in a game?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the point now. It's like, hey, let's work on it, and so that you get better and better at it and kind of fix your mistakes. And I guess it's one of those things you don't know until you do it, right? Like, you got to go out there and do it, and you're going to make mistakes in the game too, and that's kind of how it is.
What kind of appreciation do you have for Tony and Matt, that they have put you and the other assistants in a position to do things like that can benefit you long term?
Yeah. No, I'm thankful for it. I mean, it's been really good. We've never done that anywhere I've been with Coach, so it's really cool because now we get the chance to grow even more. And Coach White kind of has that, I don't know what the right word is, like he's the head coach now in a sense, because now we're coordinators. So we're kind of, the chain of command a little bit changes. So I've really enjoyed it. I thought it's been really good. We'll talk about different things that we called, why we did it, and it's been really beneficial. Thankful for it.
Mekhi Bear, he was one of those guys who maybe made a big jump last season. I mean, how did you evaluate his performance last year, and what is he bringing to the room again this season?
Yeah. So I think Makai had the opportunity to step in. Last year was the first year he's really played, so he kind of gets that experience, that a little bit of what John did of like, he's been in the same position, but now he had the opportunity to play last year. He got some confidence. He's got a better understanding of not only the scheme, but playing the game and how physical it is and everything that comes along with it. So Makai's been doing a nice job so far. Again, he's got to keep pushing himself every day. I got to push him every day, and we got to continue to get better.
With all the years you've worked with Coach Rule as a player and now as an assistant, I mean, what's maybe the biggest thing you understand now that maybe you didn't understand as a player, and what's the thing you've taken the most from Coach Rule when it comes to this game and coaching student athletes?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think just in general, like when you're a player, sometimes you don't have the maturity that you do as you get older. So, I was a younger player. I was a sophomore when I played for Coach Rule, and it was only a season because I got injured, but I didn't really understand the why of a lot of things. And now as you get older, you're like, okay, that makes sense. Like we practice that way because it's going to help us do this. Or we go to study hall every day. We go to our tutor to do this. Like I think when you're younger, you don't really understand that. And as you get older, you have a sense of appreciation for it. And so now being a coach in the role, it's like, hey guys, these are all the mistakes that I made. These are all the reasons that we do it. And, when I was a player, I had the same thought process. Like we were all players before, so we kind of get it. And it's just good from my perspective to kind of explain to them, hey, I've been in your shoes with Coach, and this is the reasons why we're doing things. So I think it's really beneficial.
Seems like he still will get after the assistants though, and still hold you guys to a high standard though. I mean,
yeah.
How much does that mean to you that he expects high things out of you guys as well?
No, it's great. I mean, that's the only way to do it. If Coach isn't hard on us, then like who is? So I think once the players see that too, that he has the same standards and expectations for the coaches that he does with the players, and even higher. Like that's what it's all about. That's why you come to work every day, to push each other to make sure that we're all going for the common goal. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Stay warm.
Van Poppel. Riley, what's it been like for you in the scrimmages when Ty and Nash have been taking those days off and leaving some of you younger guys out there to hold things down?
It's nice because it gives us, me and all the younger guys, those reps that, a lot of places around the country don't get. So it's nice to be able to be here and get those reps. Times it's a little tiring, because you don't have as much depth, but it's also cool because you see them on the sidelines engaged with us, coaching us, yelling at us during the play. And when we come off to the sidelines, they're there teaching us, what they see, what we can do better. So, it's been unbelievable just to have them by our side and sitting there coaching us along the way.
What have you learned from them?
Everything I know right now. With those two guys and T-Knight, I came in here with I think a small mind of D-line, kind of just used mainly my size in high school, but just watching them and kind of watching how Ty plays, it really has opened my eyes to allow me to see the player I can be. And then with T-Night as well, allowing me to not be one-dimensional, but work on all aspects of my game.
If you think back to last season, as a freshman going up against physical Big Ten linemen right away, what was kind of the learning curve for you with that?
I think I was a little small out there. It was a little rough sometimes, but I just had to go out there and, for me, it was just fire off the ball as hard as I can, as fast as I can. At points, it's a little intimidating, but I think you can't let that scare you. My teammates trusted me, my coaches trust me to put me in that position, so I had to go out there and trust myself as well. Know that I'm a good enough player to do it, just because what they see in me, what I see in myself, and it was a lot of fun. Like I learned a lot last year, getting thrown into a mix as a young guy, and I think it's only going to help me going forward.
Was there a point in the season where maybe you really felt like, oh, hey, I belong at this level now?
For me, I say it was Illinois. Everyone kind of jokes about it, but that 4th and 1 stop for me. In the moment, I didn't really know what was going on, but afterwards I saw the play on film, and when I saw that, I said, I can do this. I'm good enough to be here, and that kind of helped me flip my mental state.
How beneficial is this past offseason for you? Just knowing the experience that you've had, admitting that you need to get a little bit bigger, just knowing what this offseason can do for you moving forward.
Yeah, it was great for me. I know when the season ended back in November, I had my eyes set on the winter workouts and, the mat drills and all that. Mainly for me, just trying to get bigger, gain the weight, get stronger, just to play in a Big Ten defense with Big Ten ball. And it was astronomical, with Coach Campbell and his staff, everything they've done for me and Kristen, all those people just being around helping me day by day. I probably gained about 10, 12 pounds. I'm still trying to gain a little bit more, but I see my body change, and I also feel a lot more comfortable on the field. I'm confident in who I am, like physically, and now for me it's just working on the mental game.
You came in with a pretty good group of linemen, both offense and defense. How much do you guys talk as this young lineman in the program, like you guys are the future, and this is a big year now to kind of learn from some of these veteran players before it's really going to be fully your time?
Yeah, that's like you said, we all talk, we're all buddies. Out on the field, we don't like the guys across the ball, but we're all there for each other. I think, like you said, like T and I talked to me about it the other day, but when Ty and Nash leave and Jamari and Judy leave, like they're going to look back and they want to be comfortable in what they've showed us. So when it's our turn to step up, they know like we can take over the reins. And I think they've done a good job at showing us how to perform and how to play. And yeah, our D-line room, I know personally, I think we're the closest group on the team. We know how to work, but we have a lot of fun in there. So just being around the young guys and the old guys all as a mix, it's not like we're split up, we're all in there together. So
you mentioned you gained about 10 to 12 pounds. What are you at now, and do you have like a goal weight?
Right now I'm sitting at about 280. I was coming out of off season, I was about 285. Spring ball has knocked me down a little bit, but I think I'm just trying to maintain right now. After spring ball, I'm going to talk to Kristen, hopefully get to about 285 to 290 range. But it also kind of depends what she wants from me and what T-Night wants from me, and then see how I move on the field and see how I feel. But like I said, right now I feel great where I'm at, and even when I was a little heavier, I still felt good at where I was at.
What's maybe the biggest thing that along the way that your dad has taught you that you brought to college when it comes to handling pressure in a spotlight?
Like I've said before, is the mental game, and that's something my dad struggled with a lot too. He always tells me is you can't get in your own head. In the pressure, in the spotlight, like not worrying about what everyone says and what everyone, like the expectations, because I put a lot of expectations on myself, so it makes it kind of hard, and that's what he did as well. So it's been nice to be able to talk to him and learn from him. And then also like my mom, what my mom saw my dad go through, and she doesn't want to, like she wants to help me in the way she's helped him. Kind of just focusing on, what I do in the dark, what I do when no one's looking, day by day, when I'm by myself, how am I going to sleep? How am I eating? How am I drinking? Just little things. He's big on little things. So allowing me to do everything right. That way, when the moment comes, I'm not focused on outside noise, but I can just focus on me and making the play or doing what I need to do. All good? Sounds good. Thank y'all.
So he only had
How y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing great.
What's it like being in year two, and how does that impact? How do you change your outlook and your understanding of everything that you're asked to do on defense?
Appreciate that, Mr. Mitch. I would just say like year two is just I was able to really get my feet settled in, really able to just kind of grind my way. You know, year one was a great one. Year two is going to be a phenomenal one.
What role? I mean, are you primary a jack? Can you kind of describe the role that
Yes,
they
sir.
have you playing this spring?
Primary jack. That's the way we're going. Outside linebacker, man, getting after the ball.
How much? I mean, you guys, as far as sack numbers, I mean, how big of a goal is that to kind of up that production this year with that position?
Oh, most definitely. You know, that's what we get. That's what we get paid for. You know, that's where the bread and butter is. You know, sacks is everything to us. So that's what we're gonna work on our craft to get better. Sacks is everything right now. So getting after the ball, you know, you take the ball away, you win games.
Did you highlight a couple items in particular from last season that you wanted to focus on with your game?
Most definitely just locking in on my mindset, just really kind of making myself more calm on the field, as in not thinking so much and just going. That was one of the biggest things, and just working on my craft, that's everything. I do that every day.
How do you work on your mindset? Like, what do you do mentally?
So another thing is like mindfulness. I do the Calm app. I like to meditate a lot. You know, another thing that I picked up on is Kenny G. I listen to Kenny G before I go into practice. He's a game changer. I got there from the movie Gran Turismo, and that actually just helped me just kind of slow my thoughts down a little bit more and just kind of focus on the game a lot better.
When you got here, you became involved in the community and helping out youth and all that. I mean, coming here not really knowing anybody, why did you just jump in head first and helping out in the community and all that?
You know, I just feel like it was just like a respect thing. You know, I didn't know as much about Nebraska culture, but I feel jumping into the community was more so me, you know, learning and getting that experience, and you know, just kind of brightening people up and showing a great smile and just letting people know that I'm here and here for the better, here for the positive.
What's a spring like been for you? You know, sort of the mixture of guys, veterans, younger guys, doesn't matter what string you are, playing together, and how do you think that can benefit you and the team?
It's been great. You know, stepping into a role where I'm going into like a vet role, just been, you know, helping the younger guys, you know, understand and getting their playbook down, you know, letting them just play freely, you know, don't think too much on the playbook, just go out there and just ball. Like, they're doing a great job, the younger guys, and as vets, we're held to a different standard. So just keeping that standard up and making sure we handle our business and our P's and Q's.
Chief, we hear a lot of guys. Riley Van Poppel was just in here, and he was talking about his bid to get bigger, and he talked a lot about Kristen and her staff. What kind of an impact have they had on you? Has she had on you? And can you speak to just the relationship that you have there?
Me and Miss Kirsten, you know, I knew her in recruiting, and you know, just for her to be on the staff now, like helping me getting my weight up, and yeah, that's always been a great goal. Like, they do a tremendous job helping us, you know, get to our weight goals. As people sweat so much, like, they're always on top of us, helping us, you know, get better and eating, and you know, just kind of dieting, you know, weight gaining. Even for some of the guys who was fasting over, you know, Ramadan, like, they was very helpful and very mindful of like what was going on with them and their experience, you know, as spring ball kicked off. So they do a great job. They wear a lot of different hats. They're very versatile, and they always have great pivots to, you know, work and get guys weight down and get guys weight up. So.
Do you have a personal example of like something where you benefited either from just like enjoying the interactions, or where you've actually had a goal you were trying to meet and she helped you with it?
Yeah, Miss Kirsten, we always have goals. We always set goals. So me, I'm a sweater, right? I lose a lot of sweat, especially when it's hot outside. So she knows that I have to specifically eat a lot, you know, especially throughout the day. She knows that probably before practice I get like my snacks in, and then, you know, after practice I am drinking water, I am drinking Gatorade, I am eating 2-3 meals after, you know, throughout the day. So Miss Kirsten always does a great job helping me as well, getting my weight back up, especially after practice when I lose 10 pounds. So it's great.
Chief, Rob talked about when you guys are going from practice to scrimmage, seeing some of the younger guys cut it loose? Anyone that has really impressed you on the unit thus far?
They're all doing a great job. I would say that the young guys are really flashing, definitely a lot. There's a plethora of them. I can definitely say Vincent Shavers, Dylan Rogers is definitely coming along as well. Ja'Cory is doing a great job on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm just very proud of them to just kind of be a part of their a long way when they asked for me for help. You know, I was in their shoes a couple years ago, so just kind of carrying that on and just allowing them to be themselves and play their game.
What have you tried to teach them about the culture and just getting through some of those growing pains?
You know, practice is going to be tough. You know, that's what it's meant for. If your practice is not as hard as the game, then you're not having a great practice. So, you know, I just want the practices to be as tough, and it's going to be gruesome. It's going to be tough, you know, and allowing them to just, you know, watch our steps and to follow right behind us, because we are going to set the standard, set the tone for, you know, practice every day. So allow them to keep doing their thing and keep having fun as they do it.
How have you seen the spring league be a benefit for them?
It's definitely a way where you can just kind of turn off your mind and just play football. We're all competitive. Spring league is another way to just be a competitive mindset and just go out and just have fun playing football. It kind of takes away of like all eyes like watching and just really kind of, you know, battling within your team to, you know, showcase, you know, the greatest parts of working together. You know, there's a lot of trades that goes on throughout the weeks. So, yeah, it gives you a great experience of just kind of allowing yourself to just play football at a higher level in a fun way.
Chief, Coach White said that Rule kind of got on him as how the defense performed last Saturday. What was his message kind of coming into this week to you guys?
Really uncommon physical effort. Uncommon effort, you know, psychotic effort. You know, effort was everything. Getting to the ball, just raising the standard for us. You know, as a defense, we always find ways to get better, and that's what we did this week, and we're going to keep on progressing and handling our business.
Anything else for Chief? All right.
We're good. Appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.